It is 7 o'clock and I would like to call this meeting of the Township board ordered. Would everyone like to rise and like to meetings? And Carol, would you like to lead us in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, welcome everybody, and I would at this time ask the clerk to call the roll so we can establish a quorum.
Supervisor Savage,
Present.
Trustee Frio,
Present.
Trustee Soul,
Present.
Trustee Zerba, Trustee Moreno.
So we have a quorum.
Yes.
All right, thank you. At this time, I would like to open public comment. Residents will have an opportunity to speak during public comment. Comments are directed to the supervisor. We ask comments to be kept to 3 minutes and address Downers Grove Township issues. Please refrain from profanity or personal attacks directed at individuals and be respectful of all residents. We remind you that public comment is not a Q&A session. Thank you. So, the microphone's over there. Susan Steinmiller.
Right. Good evening, Supervisor Savage, trustees, Madam Clerk, and fellow citizens. My name is Susan Steinmiller, and I'm a proud citizen of Westmont, a very progressive village. I have a question for you, even though it's not a Q&A, rhetorical. What does Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King Jr., Vincent van Gogh, Robin Williams, Ernest Hemingway, and Lady Gaga have in common? Consider these revered figures that we have cheered on and admired throughout history. They all struggled with mental illness. Abraham Lincoln, one of America's greatest presidents, locked himself in his deceased son's room, Willie, for days. And you could hear his sobs all the way from every part of the building of the White House. Martin Luther King, he attempted suicide twice in his life. Ernest Hemingway, he lost his life due to suicide. Dave Durrison of the Chicago Bears, suicide. Kate Spade, designer, millionaire, mother, committed suicide. Vincent van Gogh, he lost one ear. Robin Williams, he died of suicide as well. And then we have Lady Gaga, who had to fight depression and drug addiction because of her mental illness. All these individuals came from a diverse background, different decades, different races, ages, politics, and gender, sexual orientation. A mental health crisis does not discriminate. And we cannot deny that we do not know anyone who has struggled with mental health crisis. They are sitting next to you at the doctor's office, at the DMV, your place of worship, or in the mirror. With this knowledge, I ask that this vibrant community board, this township board, to place the mental health 708 referendum on the ballot for November 2026. Presently, Downers Grove Township is the only township out of 9 in DuPage County that does not have a local community 708 mental health board. Let's change that in November. Vote for compassion. Vote for the 708 mental health referendum. Thank you.
Bonnie Wayne Dodd.
Hello and good evening, everyone. I am Bonnie Wayman Dodd from Westmont, Progressive Village. And I'm also a Westmont Lions member. I'd like to explain to you tonight, if you haven't already heard, that there's a huge blood shortage. We are terribly low. Hospitals are looking at, and surgical centers are looking at postponing elective surgeries because we are so low on blood right now. So I'm just letting you know that we are running a blood drive on July 28th. It's a Tuesday from 10 to 3. And if anybody would like to donate, it would certainly help your fellow citizens. I will set some of these by the door. You're welcome to take it. Even if you've been denied once before, that doesn't mean you're going to be denied now. So just go ahead if you're interested. You can also check with your doctor if you're concerned, but 1 in 5 hospitalized patients needs blood and less than 3% donate. And usually it's because nobody asked them. So if you wouldn't mind spreading the word, July 28th from 10 to 3, you can make an appointment or you can just walk in. Thank you very much.
Okay, I have one that came in by email that I would read for you. And it says, good afternoon, I am a constituent and strongly favor the resolution on your agenda this evening to place the question on the ballot regarding forming a 708 mental health board in Downers Grove Township. As the largest and only township in DuPage County without this taxing body and public service, I support adding this question to the ballot and fully support its passage. I am not able to attend the meeting tonight to add my voice to the many others in our community who support this measure, but wanted to let you know this is important to me, my family, and my community. Thank you for your public service and excellent work, Hillary Day. Hillary. Jessica O'Malley.
This is not the right height. Okay, good evening. Thank you, Supervisor Savage, trustees, and clerk, for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Jessica O'Malley, and I am here tonight on behalf of 708 for Downers Grove Township. I am incredibly proud to formally present to this board the, as of tonight, 4,523 signatures that we officially meeting and exceeding the legal requirements to place a vital community mental health referendum on the November ballot. A 708 community health board is the single most effective way to ensure our tax dollars are directly spent to fund, coordinate, and maximize essential services for mental health, substance use recovery, and developmental disabilities. Because it is governed entirely by local residents, it provides a highly responsive, transparent approach to our community's behavioral health challenges. As it was said already tonight, this initiative is urgent. Downers Grove Township is currently the last township in DuPage County without a 708 board. While we are deeply grateful for the dedication and vital resources provided by DuPage County in prioritizing mental health, county-level support simply cannot cover every local gap. Recent data from the DuPage County Community Needs Assessment shows that nearly a quarter of surveyed residents still cite mental health access as their top unmet need. Our local infrastructure is stretched thin while needs continue to grow. A 708 board directly complements the county's efforts by creating a dedicated, protected local fund to bridge those hyper-local gaps and support our frontline care providers. None of this would be possible without the incredible dedication from our volunteers, and I want to thank them all for their tireless work. Over the past year, our volunteers have been everywhere, from community events to farmers markets, book clubs, and local playgrounds. The response on the ground has been incredible. Time and again, neighbors would ask, "This is for mental health?" and immediately reach for the pen. One emergency room nurse told me her entire shift the night before was filled with people experiencing mental health emergencies. She could not sign her name fast enough. We are joined tonight by a strong showing of our supporters, as well as 3 attorneys who have generously guided us through this legal process: Jack Bentley, Brett Bender, and Corey Atkinson. Our community has spoken. We are proud to present these petitions tonight and see a 708 Community Mental Health Board referendum move forward to the ballot in November. Thank you.
I can, I'm Clerk Roudebush, and I can attest that the petitions were filed with the clerk's office during the filing window. And I could certify all of those and turn them into the county to be filed in August if you decide. If the board chooses.
Thank you. That was all the people that signed up for public comment. Is there anyone else that wishes to make public comment at this time? Right, come forward.
Hi, I'm short. Hi, my name is Dr. Jody Harrop. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist as well as a Downers Grove resident for the past 27 years. I actually hadn't planned on speaking tonight, but I'd like to give you guys a little view of what it's like on the ground as a clinical psychologist. I have a waiting list of patients as long as my own, as does every clinical psychologist and master's degree therapist that I know. And what we are seeing when we are able to accept new patients into our office is that the acuity of the mental health issue has drastically increased. Recently, we are seeing tremendous increases in anxiety, depression, substance abuse. Again, even with substance abuse, particularly since COVID, we have seen a tremendous increase in alcohol use and other substances. We are seeing an increase in suicidal ideation. We are seeing an increase in self-harm behavior. Again, I'm trying to give you an indication of what we are seeing as clinicians here. We need help. Our patients need help. By passing this 708 board, we are going to fill in some of the cracks that are so abundant in our system right now. This is something that is sorely, desperately needed in our community. So I strongly urge you to support the formation of the 708 board in Downers. And thank you for hearing me out.
Is there anyone else who would like to make public comment? Joel Maury?
Good evening, I'm Joe Amore. I'm a board member of the DuPage Railroad Safety Council. We are a nationally recognized organization that is determined to prevent tragedies along railroad tracks. Our director, Dr. Lanny Wilson, is a Hinsdale resident, and unfortunately he is away tonight, could not be here to speak. But on his behalf and on behalf of the organization, we are very proud and encouraged that this initiative is being undertaken. And we're looking forward to seeing its passage. Thank you.
Does anyone else wish to make a public comment? Seeing none, we will end the public comment session. And may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? That Trustee Sol moved. Is there a second? Second. Trustee Friel seconds. Any discussion? All in favor of approving this, okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. All right. Now we will move on to the supervisory report, and first I would like to welcome all visitors this evening. But we will begin tonight's supervisory report with the FY 2026 audit. I have Tracy, the Executive Vice President of Sullivan Cox, is here to discuss the outcome of the audit. By law, townships are required to submit their annual financial report and audit to the Illinois Comptroller's Office. And so we are on track to do that. Thank you, Ed.
Thank you for having me here this evening. As the supervisor mentioned, you are on track, timeline required by the controller's office. Supervisor Savage and myself first met back in March, prior to the end, or just after the end of the year, I should say. And our field work was conducted in May. We kind of we're on hold till we got the reports from IRF, which came in early June, and now we're here tonight to present draft financial statements. Again, the timeline for filing the controller's office is 6 months after the end of your fiscal year. However, they have not rolled forward their reporting requiring the reports online, so I haven't been able to complete the online version of the report, but we'll get that as soon as it's made available. As part of our audit, we do take a look at the internal control structure at the township. We walk through certain transactions to see that controls are being adhered to. And we found overall that the control environment was appropriately designed and proper approvals, proper reconciliations, subsidiary documentation to the general ledger, things like that. The audit itself does not give an opinion on internal control because it's a financial statement audit, but we do, again, if we identify things where we feel like controls are missing or lacking, we would have brought those to your attention. One thing, we do make some adjustments to books and records as part of our audit process. This year, the number of adjustments we made was down from what we've had to do in the past. They primarily were focused on a couple of areas. One was there were some adjustments from the prior year that didn't get appropriately recorded, so we had to kind of make those adjustments to tie out to your fund balances and the like. And then there was some out of period activity. By that I mean activity that took place after the end of the year that related to the fiscal year under audit. So we would have to make the adjustments to bring that back in, whether it's reporting it as a receivable and revenue or as a payable expense. So fairly typical adjustments. Again, also within the audit, there's really two sets of financial statements. There's your fund financial statements, which is how you keep your books throughout the year. And then there's these what's called government-wide financial statements, which is more of a long-term perspective. So in the fund financial statements, you don't recognize fixed assets or long-term liabilities, whereas in the government-wide statements you do. So we made some adjustments to convert your fund financial statements to the government-wide financial statements. These are typical standard entries we make really with all our government clients and not an indication of any errors in bookkeeping or anything lacking in that regard. It's just something that's done as part of the audit. As far as the audit results were concerned, when we look at the fund financial statements, the audit, you'll see we'll have separate reports separately for each of what's called the major funds. And those are the funds that account for more than 10% of assets, liabilities, revenues, or expenses. So your major funds are your general town fund, your general assistance fund, and your road and bridge fund. And for those funds, the general town fund had a positive bottom line for the year of about $256,000. And it actually budgeted for a loss. Revenues were pretty much in line with budget, while expenses overall were about 15% under budget. So overall, you did a good job of maintaining the expenses and adhering to your budget there. General assistance funds reported a small loss for the year. Expenditures exceeded revenues by about $8,700, which was less than the budgeted loss that was expected. At the end of the year, general assistance fund had a deficit fund balance of about $32,000. So that just means that over the years, your expenses exceeded your revenues by that amount over time. And the road and bridge fund had reported a loss of $206,000, so expenditures exceeded budget by that amount, but budget expectations were for a much bigger loss. And when you look at the expenses versus budget, there was really savings versus budget in all departments across the road and bridge fund. So in all instances where your expenditures exceeded budget, that was generally planned as a planned use of existing fund balance, and your overall results bettered budget. And in most cases, in nearly all cases, that was just because expenses were under budget. Revenues were pretty much in line with budget. The other item of note is you have a pension plan with IMRF where your employees participate in IMRF. And currently you're reporting a net pension asset. So the assets on hand at IMRF are expected to exceed what's needed to pay out future benefits by about 2.4 million. And you're almost 115% funded with IMRF. So I would anticipate that would mean much lower required contributions by the township over the next few years because of that excess. And that comes about mainly because of better earnings than expected by the actuary. The actuary anticipated a certain investment earning rate and using that, they base it's the basis for what they require the township to contribute. And those earnings have bettered those expectations over the last several years. So as a result, the township is sitting in a surplus position where I'm reported in their pension plans. I would like to thank Jill Urso and her team and Supervisor Savage for all their assistance during the audit. We were able to get things done in a timely manner. Last couple of years, between the fire and some other things, it was a much more arduous process, but this year, I think kind of past that now. Things are from an accounting standpoint, we're really good shape. So being able to come in and get about that.
And those documents were emailed to the trustees last week. So everybody knows.
Yeah, and it's obviously it's a lot of information in there. It's a big report. I just tried to hit some highlights, but again, I think overall it's a very positive year in terms of results versus expectations, and just overall fund balances and the like.
Do any of the trustees have questions?
No.
All right, well, thank you so much for being here with us this evening.
Thank you.
On with my supervisor report, I am happy to report that Jamie Thompson, our new Youth and Family Services Coordinator, started last week. She is currently working part-time as she winds down her previous commitments. We are proud to be able to build on the work that DuPage County has invested in over the past year in the southeast portion of our township, which is an unincorporated island with no municipal services, no park district, no grocery store, and no public transportation. While elementary students are able to walk to school, middle school and high school students must be bused. So we will continue to be an integral part of the Seed Coalition, which is a collective effort in that area to serve families and build community. On our agenda this evening, we have one item of new business in addition to the resolutions that were passed in the consent agenda. Res 2026-0720-4 is a resolution directing the submission of a public question. Recommend a tax levy to support creation of a mental health board. Currently, Downers Grove Township is the only township in DuPage County that does not have a mental health board. We have had consistent feedback from community partners that have attended the Senior Advisory Committee, the Youth Services Advisory Committee, and the Mental Health Services Advisory Committee that the need for assistance is great and continues to grow. Through their grassroots participation, the 708 for Downers Grove organization has demonstrated that public sentiment greatly supports creation of a new levy to support mental health services in Downers Grove Township. For that reason, I ask that the board vote to put the resolution on the ballot in recognition of the work that the volunteers have done, but also reminding the board that we can neither publicly advocate for or oppose the ballot initiative. We will be able to provide factual information about the ballot question. Our senior activities continue to be strong, although participation was slightly lower in June, partially due to the weather. We scheduled 73 events with 1,039 check-ins. The number of general assistance clients grew from 5 to 7, with $2,300 in grants in June. Emergency assistance was up dramatically with the number of clients that rose from 12 to 18, which is 50% increase, And the assistance that was given was $10,226.70. That's a 56% increase in dollars. The total headcount for clients was 64, and that total included additional assistance like gas cards, and other items. And that total, including everything for, assistance, was $16,141.70. Passport applications have also experienced an increase in June, with 44 new applications and 21 renewals compared to 22 and 13 in May. Medical lending closet continues to demonstrate strong need within the community. Our committees continue to explore resources and meet gaps within the township and our building plans to assist in filling gaps where appropriate by working with other community partners. Some of the meetings that I attended this month included the Youth Advisory Committee, the DuPage Township Supervisors Association, which has had 2 meetings since the last time we went. Westmont Chamber After Hours, Downers Grove Township Wild West Father's Day Social. That wasn't really a meeting, it was social, but it was good. Young Township America 250 celebration, that was on a Sunday in York Township. I met with the village manager in Downers Grove. I attended the senior advisory committee, Willowbrook Ridge Chamber luncheon, and we also hosted a spotlight table at that event where we gave out information about the township and answered questions there. Then there was the Downers Grove Township Ice Cream Social for the seniors, and then I attended Just Us Seniors. Our senior symposium committee had a meeting, and they are planning an event for March. I attended Representative Goyer's community presentation on pensions, and I attended 2 meetings for Village of Downers Grove TIFs just this afternoon. Also spent a lot of time with the audit report prior to this meeting, and we also hope to roll out the township email newsletters this month. Do we have any questions from the trustees? Okay, that concludes my report. And I have a report from the assessor.
Yes, Supervisor Savage, trustees. In the assessor's office, we continue to work to close down our books for the month, for the year, I should say, excuse me. And it's a long process that we go through. The county is working to be able to accept those books. And what happens is, once we close down the books and turn them over to the county, they will have a process where they accept the books, review the books. There's 9 townships. So each one of them has to go through that process, and then they'll be able to post them in the newspaper to be able to do this, let everybody have notices who had changes in their specific properties. That going on, we're looking at sometime to have our books and our posting go out sometime, hopefully in the next 45 days or so. So we do it, and that starts a 30-day period in which people will have the ability to be able to appeal their assessments. And we encourage everybody to reach out to us directly. Hopefully can handle most of them without filing official appeals, because that's an easier way to do it. We have a very robust online system that we're going to be able to use and use in the last several years with the website to be able to allow people to bring up their questions. And doing it that way saves a lot of time, both at the county level and at the township level, and also for the residents. The county did inform us today that they are moving forward, and they're working really hard to have the appeals be filed online. So that's going to be able to save some time and be more efficient for people. It's going to be a new learning curve for everybody, but the county's working real hard to make things, we all are working to make things more efficient for people to be able to file their appeals and file their inquiries to make things go well. And I think that's the main things that we're working on, to try to make things more efficient for everyone. And I know, I'd like to just say, I know we can't, assuming that I fall into the same category, that I cannot say whether I'm for or against the referendum. But I will just say I am a father that lost a child to an opioid overdose in 2022. So I would encourage that the trustees do put the initiative on the ballot. I can't tell you which way to vote on it, but I would say that I support putting the referendum on the ballot. And vote whatever your conscience says. Thank you.
Ready, do any of you trustees have questions for the assessor?
No.
All right, the highway commissioner was unable to join us tonight, but before I get on to that, I do want to thank Chris Hodgkin, who is the vice chair of our Veteran Services Advisory Committee, for the lovely cookies that are over there. She baked them, so they're not store bought. This is the highway commissioner report. Good evening, members of the board and residents. The highway department has experienced an exceptionally busy and productive month. Please find the updates on our recent operations and projects below. Storm response and emergency operations. Early in the month, our township experienced a severe weather event that dropped over 2.5 inches of rain in just 45 minutes. The intense volume of water caused significant erosion, washing away numerous stone shoulders across our roadway network. And then with tree removal, our crew worked through the night to clear a substantial number of fallen trees, blocking the township's right of way, ensuring our roads remain safe and passable. They also had to clean up a tree over here that fell down in the road. Summer staffing. At the beginning of the month, we welcomed 4 full-time summer helpers. Their addition provided a much needed boost to our capacity. They have been instrumental in maintaining our right-of-way grass cutting schedule and providing critical support to our tree crew during high workload events like recent storm. Facilities and capital improvements. We have moved forward with the major capital improvements of the township garage to modernize the facility and address deferred maintenance. Masonry, crews repaired and stabilized the deteriorating interior brickwork. Doors, rusted entrance, bathroom, and office doors were completely replaced. Finishes, interior painting is currently underway and scheduled for completion by the end of the week. Flooring, next week we will begin applying an epoxy coating to the garage floors. This will seal all cracks and prevent chipping and level out uneven surfaces. Stormwater management and ditching infrastructure. Improving township drainage remains the top priority. 91st Street and Clarendon Hills project, in partnership with Lochner Engineering and Thor Construction, we began jetting the large 54-inch storm drains in this area. During the process for construction, discovered that approximately 1/3 of the drain was blocked by stone and sediment. We are actively removing this debris to significantly restore and improve stormwater flow. Township ditching. Finally, the highway department is launching another 1.5 weeks of targeted ditching operations throughout the township to further enhance drainage efficiency for our residents. That concludes the highway commissioner's report. We can ask any questions. May I have a clerk report?
Sure. Yeah, sorry. Running multiple programs at the same time on computer. Okay, so the clerk's office is still focusing on records retention, and I talk about this every month. We've also, as part of that, we've begun the process of working with the Secretary of State's Records Retention Division. And this will be ongoing, so you will hear more about it in future meetings. We continue to process FOIAs, and this last week we received the previously mentioned 708 mental health petitions as the local election authority, and we learned some new things about our role as such. That's
Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions for the clerk? No. All right. Is there any old business? Hearing none or new business, may I have a motion to approve Res 2026-0720-4, declaring the submission of a public question to the electors of the Downers Grove Township regarding a levy and of an annual tax for the purpose of providing community mental health facilities and services pursuant to the Community Mental Health Act 405 ILCS 20-1 ETSEQ.
So moved.
Trustee Friel moves. 2 seconds. Trustee Soul seconds. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Supervisor Savage,
Yes.
trustee Soul,
Yes.
trustee Friel,
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries. Thank you. Moving on, are there any trustee comments and discussion this evening?
I would like to thank everyone who has taken the time to be. This is sort of a special fund.
I like that word just on now. You didn't get suddenly not well. And
I would echo their sentiments. This was a great demonstration of community action to solve the problem that exists in the community. And their the next step is to then get people to come out and vote for the referendum in November. And again, the township in our official roles cannot either support or oppose the referendum, but we have just voted to place that on the ballot. So with no further trustee comments, is there a motion to adjourn? Trustee Soul moves.
Second.
Trustee Friel seconds, all in favor? Aye. The meeting is adjourned in cookies.